I love comparing myself to other people. I think it's healthy. I think it's inspiring. I think it can get you way outside your comfort zone. I think it can show you what's possible. I think most people can't handle comparing themselves to others because they use it as a kick down. Because when you see somebody else having success, you feel like this person's so far ahead. This person has done so much. This person did way more than me at a way younger age. There's no way I can ever keep up. The difference is you have to learn how to use it. Use the comparison to kick yourself forward instead of kicking yourself down. Most of the world compares themselves to other people to kick themselves down, to feel not good enough, to feel less than, to feel like you don't belong, instead of using it as inspiration to move forward, to say, this is what's possible. When I first learned about Ed Mylett, I had no idea who he was, right? Just like anybody else, when you're first learning about them, like, who is this person? And I learned about him because a bunch of people in my network said, you need to do a top 10 on Ed Mylett. You gotta listen to him because he is one of the greatest speakers of our time. Like, wow, really, one of the greatest speakers of our time. Let's go look him up. Let's go see what he can do. And then I remember watching some of his speeches, like, man, I love this guy. I love his energy, I love his fire, I love the points that he brings up. A lot of personal development is the same themes, but the way that he delivers it is totally different. Different analogies, different examples, and I love it. So I want to learn more about this guy. And I'm comparing myself to him, not in a negative to say, oh my gosh, look at how great he is. I could never be like that. My goal isn't to be the next Ed Mylett. It's always to be the best Evan Carmichael. Same thing with you, right? Your goal is to be the best you. But you can get that by learning from other people, by seeing what's possible. And so you could compare yourself to Ed Mylett and become a better you. There's the classic story of Roger Bannister, who was the first guy to break the 4-minute mile, and it was always thought that it's impossible to break the 4-minute mile. And then all of a sudden after he did it, lots of people are doing it. Even high school kids are breaking the 4-minute mile. Why? Because they knew it was possible now. Because they compared themselves to Roger Bannister and said, hey, if he could do it, I can too. That it's possible. People thought it was physically impossible for a human to run a mile in 4 minutes, and then Bannister did it, and then a whole bunch of other people did it as well. To know that it was possible. That's why I love the comparison, because it shows, if you never look at other people, if you never compare yourself to others, then I think you stay being the big fish in the small pond. You stay stuck. Maybe you're content, maybe you're happy with that, but if you want to grow, you want to learn, you want to improve, you want to spread your mission, you want to have a bigger impact, you want to grow, you want to get better, you do that by looking at people who've done a lot more than you and saying that's what's possible, and not feeling less than, but saying if they can do it, I can find my version of it too. And so I think it's a two-step process. Number one is you have to be inspired. So you have to be around it daily. I make these videos because selfishly, I want to be around it daily. You know, I know Ed, I visited his home, he brought me in, I'm super gracious. He and his wife hosted Nina and I when we went to San Diego, and I've talked to him a whole bunch of times, but I'm still not hanging out with Ed Mylett every day, right? I'm not calling him every day and say, hey Ed, what's up? And same thing with all the other people that I profile. I'm not hanging out with Tony Robbins every day. I have hung out with him. I'm not hanging out with Brendan Burchard every day. I have hung out with him, right? It's not every day, so I want it every day. I want to be around these people who are doing more than I am every day. And that's why I make these videos. It's a selfish way for me to be around them every day, to get their thoughts in my head every day. Because the more you're around the people who you look up to, respect, want to emulate pieces of, push you to grow and be better, then guess what happens? They pull you to actually become better. If you're hanging around negative, toxic, complaining people, guess what happens? You're going to become negative, toxic, and complaining. If you're hanging around people who are achieving their goals, who are playing a bigger game, who are being bold, ambitious, brave, courageous, guess what happens? You start to become bold, ambitious, brave, courageous. You are who you hang around. And again, I'm not hanging around Ed every day, but I can watch his videos. And so can you. You can be around the people through content virtually. And if you don't like videos, and read their books and listen to their podcasts, there's so many ways to learn and be around it. You need to be inspired. You need to be around these people, I think, on a daily basis if you want to shift forward. And you won't notice it on a day-to-day basis. You may not feel that you're that different than where you were yesterday. But if you're learning, and if you're growing, and you're being around these people who pull you forward, guess what? In a month, and 2 months, and 3 months, and 6 months, you're going to look back and say, holy cow, man, I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. I'm in a totally different spot than where I used to be. My mindset is totally different. I'm starting to see big gains in my life and my business because you started hanging around with people who are achieving more. And again, that comparison I think is fantastic as long as you're using it as a push to show what's possible instead of a kick down to say that you suck. Because I think without the kick, I see it as a kick. Without the kick, you stay stuck. Without that kick of inspiration, you stay stuck where you are. Without knowing what's possible, that somebody's achieved something like this, it's a lot harder to kick yourself into gear. So you need the kick. Just make sure you're kicking yourself forward instead of kicking yourself down, feeling like you're not enough. So step one is that inspiration, to be around it daily, to be consuming it daily, right? Whether it's a 10-minute video, 15, 20-minute video, every day, every single day to kick you forward. Step number two is you gotta do something about it. It's why I in every video say how important it is that you take action, right? When you get motivated and just stay motivated without doing anything, you have a 35% chance of actually following through, right? Where when you actually have a plan and you commit to it, it's over 90% that you're gonna follow through. That's why I'm obsessed within every video. I say that. We're gonna have at the end of this video too. We're gonna repeat it again to try to cement it home that you gotta do something about it. That getting motivated is not enough. I remember being at a Tony Robbins event with my team and everybody's freaking out, and if you've ever been to a Tony Robbins event, the energy's off the charts, it's crazy. And I remember Alex on my team was super motivated and pumped up, and he was asking, why am I not more excited and pumped up and like yelling and going crazy? Because it has to go in my calendar. Because if I don't put the changes that I had in my head that I came up with at this event, if I don't put it in my calendar, nothing's gonna happen. I'm just gonna have this motivated feeling, and then in a week, in a couple days or whatever, it's gonna fade, and then I'm gonna be back to the same Evan that I used to be. But if I put it in my calendar, those are my habits. That's what I'm actually executing on. That's what I'm actually doing. That's when I'm gonna make the change. So it's important that, yes, you get motivated and inspired every day. I think you need to have it every day. I think doing it once a week is not enough. Feeling bold once a week is not enough. You need to have it every single day. I like having it in my morning routine. Do it whatever fits for you, but I think if you start your day with something that makes you feel bold, powerful, inspired, courageous, hopeful, I think it changes the trajectory of your entire life. But then you gotta do something. You gotta commit to action. You gotta commit to actually making some kind of change. If you watch this video, you get inspired by my message, by Ed's message. Great, awesome. Now what? You're inspired to write your own script? Great. So what does that mean? What does that look like for you? What does writing your own script actually look like for you? That you can be in a different spot 1 year from today. And actually creating momentum towards it. Like the best thing you can do right now after this video is to actually start building that life of what your own script looks like. Because otherwise you're just gonna get motivated, and then after lunchtime it's gone. And you realize, oh, I'm back to who I used to be. I guess motivation doesn't work. It works to get you in the right mindset, to give you the courageous nature, feeling, to then go off and actually do something. The motivation is a little state shift that it gives you, to then give you that boldness, but nothing happens until you actually start to execute against it. So you need both. You need the daily motivation, the daily inspiration, daily comparison, kick forward, and then couple that with action so you can build a better life for yourself.
If you want another Evan rant video that just might give you the confidence you need, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Being proud of yourself comes from doing difficult things. If you want to have more self-love, more self-respect, more self-confidence, more self-pride, it comes from teaching yourself that you do difficult things.